This is a demo on how to add service IFSP services via the provider portal. I'm logged into the provider portal as Sarah Howell. I am logged into a staging environment, and although you see child demographic information, none of this is accurate PHI or PII, and all information has been obfuscated. I am going to demonstrate how to enter IFSP services. So I'm going to select the first child on my list, Elijah, and I'm going to go to Add Services. The calendar automatically defaults to the current month, and today is August 15th, and therefore my calendar will not advance with the ability to add new activities for future dates. I'm going to say I am a service provider who sees this child on Tuesdays. Please note the calendar starts on a Monday. In the top left corner, you can see the child's name, the service that's listed on the IFSP, the number of units that are available, and the number of units for each date of service and the total allowable units. So we have Elijah is the child, services are occupational therapy, and they're written as 4 units on the IFSP, which is an hour of services. I'm going to add services to Tuesday, and I'm just billing for my occupational therapy services. And by clicking on Tuesday, August 5th on the calendar and selecting new activity, get a pop-up box for new activity. The system automatically defaults my time to 4 units because that is what the allowed units are. And it defaults the rate hourly to $108. That is what the EIB has on file for me as the provider with Foothills Gateway. I have the ability to upload a progress note or drag or drop a file. So I'm just going to upload files and I'm going to take this note and I'm going to save it here. If I picked the wrong child or an incorrect note, I can use this trash icon to delete the note I've updated. There it is, it's gone. This would be a place that providers can upload progress notes. I'm just going to go ahead and save. And upon saving, my little box for Tuesday the 5th now has a 4 in it, indicating that I have billed 4 units for this date of service. I'm going to add another date of service for Tuesday, August 12th. And in this instance, I'm going to change my units. I'm going to change them to 6 units because I spent an hour and a half in this session. Although I saw them for 6 units, my hourly rate does not change. The data system automatically recalculates the hourly rate based on the number of units entered. So again, I'm not going to upload a file because this is the staging environment. I'm going to go ahead and save. Now, when I clicked save, it's prompting me that I've exceeded the allowed units. I'm only allowed 4 per up here, but I entered 6. So it asks me if I want to proceed. I'm going to say yes, so we can see what that looks like. I just click yes, and then I click my save box. And now it's prompting me to enter an over unit justification. There are 4 over unit justifications: makeup visit time added to session, time extended community partner involvement, family circumstances required additional support, or accompanying family to appointment or outing. I'm going to pick time exceeded community partner involvement, and I'm going to go ahead and click save. And now you see on the 12th, this is updated to 6. If I click on that activity, or on that number 6 on the day of the week, it does give me the option to edit this. I can only edit the units, build units, and we know that's spelled incorrectly, we're working on that, or the over unit justification, or I can add a description if I want to. meeting at park with playgroup and save. I'm going to go back. Now you can see I've entered my dates of service for August for Elijah. I'm going to go back to my client cases so I can demonstrate what it looks like for a child where these activities have been reviewed by the early intervention broker. So I'm going to go to this child, Jean, and I'm going to click on my Add Services button. You can see Jean has had a number of IFSPs, but if I scroll down, I can see that I have a five units on the first, 4 units on the fourth, and 5 units on the 11th. But now instead of just being blue hyperlink numbers, they're either in a green box or a red box. The green box indicates that the early intervention broker has approved the state of service. If I click on it, I can edit it, or I can no longer edit it. Sorry. It's no longer editable because it's been approved by the early intervention broker. For the rejected service, I'm going to open up that one. And you can see I had my over units justification here, but there's also a reason for rejection. Additional units not pre-approved. This may or may not be a policy for an EIB that a provider is contracting with. I just made this up. So I can edit this. So let's say I want to take this back down to 4. And I am going to clear this out to none. And I'm going to hit save. And if I go back to the calendar, you can see now this activity is a blue hyperlink again. And that means now that it's been denied, I've made my updates. It will go back to the early intervention broker to either approve or deny, hence changing it green, or as we saw red before. This is how you, so that is what approved services look like. I'm going to go back to my client cases and find one more example for what it might look like for a child who is Medicaid enrolled. So I'm going to select this child. I'm going to go to Add Services. Now in this instance, you can see that my calendar defaulted to July instead of the current month, August. And that's because this child's IFSP end date is 7/20/2025. So I can't bill for services because maybe this child aged out, or maybe their annual has expired and no new annual or no new IFSP has been written. In either way, I'm going to show this child has occupational therapy, 4 units are allowable. I'm going to select services for Tuesday the 1st. Again, it defaults to 4 and 108. I'm going to go ahead and click save, but this child has Medicaid. So it is prompting me for a Medicaid denial. I need to check that checkbox. And what was the date of that denial? I'm going to pick that it was the same day as the service. And now I'm going to hit save. So because this child that I was on is Medicaid enrolled, here we have Medicaid enrolled as yes. When I enter services for him that are occupational therapy, it requires a denial. That's the same for physical therapy services and for speech language pathology services. There's one more example for how to add services to an IFSP that a provider may run into. I am going to select this child, Hadley. She also is enrolled in Medicaid. And I'm going to select Add Services. And instead of being taken directly to the calendar, I get a pick list of what services provided. Did I provide occupational therapy or an assistive technology device? This is because as the provider, Sarah, I am listed on the IFSP twice, once for occupational therapy and once for an assistive technology device. So prior to billing on the calendar, I have to tell the system which service I'm billing for. I'm going to select Assistive Technology Device and go to Next. You can see this child's IFSP expired way back in April of 2025, so the calendar's taking me there. But it does indicate that now I'm billing for this assistive technology device service. So if I want to add a service on Thursday the 17th, it does not know the amount because it's assistive technology. Um, so I'm just going to say purchased AT item. This description is optional, and you will follow your CCEIB's instructions on if you should be using it or not. Now I'm going to go ahead and save. So even though Hadley is enrolled in Medicaid, I'm not getting prompted. Not quite sure why we're not saving either. Although Hadley is enrolled in Medicaid, because the service is an assistive technology device, it does not prompt me to enter a denial reason because it's not occupational therapy, physical therapy, or speech language pathology. Not quite sure what's going on and why that wouldn't save. But we can just move on from that. So this is how you would bill for services on an IFSP via the provider portal. Please reach out to the EI Colorado data team with any questions.